Alright, Trenton, here you go. Definitions of all the functions. I'm talking to the video camera. Ways of knowing, or epistemologies. Experiential, SI, logs the particularist experiential events of the ongoing manifestation of the self, converting them into knowledge particular to the self. It also converts the other direction, turning personal body pleasures into time objects that represent a schedulable, reliable experiential event. Converts the ongoing nature of systems into singular events along a linear timescale, assumes the conditions of the system change and the events within the system are static. NI, or the metaphysical way of knowing, the metaphysical epistemology, universalizes the personal observations regarding systems and the interplay of meaning-based objects mostly, but also converts the other direction, indicating that now's a good time to duck, for example. The physical aspect of NI saves your ass, while the metaphysical aspect understands how systems change over time by presuming the conditions of the system are static, while the events within a system can change. Hence, blow up the labyrinth INFJ and TP conflicts. INFJs say, well, that won't work because here's the rules of the labyrinth. And I say, well, let's blow up the labyrinth. They don't like that. Ways of doing. SE, experiential or physical, converts time objects into action in the physical world, ends the period of conditionality, truth, dispute, and deliberation by rendering the conditional into the causal, oppositional in values to NE. Best definition, the implementation of that which has already been decided. That's SE. Metaphysical. NE creates new time objects out of combinations of existing ones, or does the same thing with combination of physical space objects. Oppositional in value to SE insofar as every rendering of the conditional into the causal collapses the time fluid nature of the metaphysical into the linear time reality of the experiential impacts. In other words, if we say, well, we could do X or Y, if we do X, then Z, then if we do Y, then A, and the SE down goes, let's do X, and just does it, then it's no longer relevant what I have to say about Y and Z because X has already been done. All right. Metaphysical metrics, or objective metrics, those are TI and FE. TI is through systems of time objects. TI has no physical aspect really, as it represents the grammar of symbolic languages and their implicit quality of relative certainty. Because words mean some things and not other things, they draw distinctions. This distinction renders the meaning of a symbol static, at least for the purposes of a given discursive event. Thus, the real-time usage of TI is the processing of real-time exchanges of time objects through this consistency-based objective metric in which communicability and universalizability of relatively certain statuses is the only matter of concern. We know it's relatively certain because validity occurs regardless of truth, right? If I say, if all pigs can have wings and Porky is a pig, then Porky has wings, it's valid regardless of whether it's true. So we know as a consequence that it's objective. The validity occurs regardless of truth. All right, so FE. FE manages systems by evaluating the motivations and perceptions of the individuals who make up the parts of the system that are meaningful to the individual FE user. It converts physical data points regarding how others feel regarding experiential and metaphysical events into statuses that function much the same as the depersonalized time objects which comprise the population of symbols through which such distinctions are made by a TI. Like TI, FE requires the agreement of others' universalizability to attain legitimacy. Okay, so it's this need for external factors to legitimize that make FE and TI objective. Now let's look at the physical or subjective metrics. TE, systems of space objects, converts the wants of interested parties into outcomes in the world. These two functions, FI and TE, unavoidably pair because TE only can serve the manifestation of the self through the attainment of goals that matter to the individual. Legitimacy is always personal. When effectiveness or efficiency are used as arguments, that's TI represent the values of TE and using them as objects within its own legitimization scheme. It's not TE legitimization. Okay, systems of motivations is in the physical metric is FI, converts experiences and time objects into the personal physical experience of valuing. The converse of TI-FI has no metaphysical aspect. The experience of personal feeling is not universalizable, not generalizable, and not useful in argumentation generally, even in its poorly rendered TI typologic form. There's your definitions, Trenton. There's your definitions, everyone. I'm pleasantly surprised by the number of thumbs down on my obviously correct analysis of things. So there are your definitions. Come and get me.